Information Wednesday, Shalise McQueen here. I am back, and today's video is much requested, and I feel it's important because I probably have this conversation at least once a day. When it comes to your personal property, whether it's under a renter's policy or maybe it's under your homeowner's policy, there are some exceptions, exclusions, special limits, etc. And particularly pertaining to jewelry, firearms, arts, collectibles, things like that. But jewelry is the biggest one that we pay attention to and want to make sure that we have coverage for. And so how to do that under your current policy without having a separate endorsement, a rider, or any other subsequent coverage, you do not really have coverage for your jewelry or higher valued items. In fact, most policies will read $1,500 or $2,500 for jewelry, which we know is not going to get the job done, right? So what do you need to do? So you need to make sure that you have either a rider underneath your renter's or your homeowner's policy that is listing each item, and you can have a separate deductible associated with them, or you can have zero deductible. But when you do this, you're going to have what's either called an appraised value or an agreed upon value. And depending on what form of documentation you're submitting, they may be different. For example, maybe you bought a brand new watch and you got a deal on it. You only paid $8,000 for it, but it's worth $15,000. Obviously, in that case, you want to have an appraisal, so you are insuring the item for $15,000, which is what it would cost to replace today versus the $8,000 that you paid for it. Now, on that same topic of making sure that you have the coverage that you need and you deserve, so with jewelry or any other kind of endorsement you have on your policy for these higher valued items, they're not being insured at replacement, meaning whatever limit is stated on your policy is exactly what you're going to receive. And what happens is, say we bought a ring 10 years ago and it cost us $10,000. That same ring today costs us $19,000. Well, in the event that ring was stolen or lost, you're not going to receive $19,000 to replace that ring. You're only going to get the insured amount of $10,000 that you originally insured the ring for. That's why it's so important that every few years you get an appraisal done, and of course you're taking inventory of what your policies read and what the actual coverage that you're receiving, because likely there's a huge variance. To quickly summarize today's conversation, again, your high valued items basically have no coverage unless you have a subsequent endorsement rider or separate policy altogether. If you do have those items, again, how old was your appraisal or your bill of sale? More than likely, it's out of date and it's not going to be enough to get the job done in the event that you had to replace your item. Because again, these items are not being insured as replacement. They're being insured as a stated value. So it's so important that you take inventory of what you have and what your coverage states. I'm a woman. I have extreme attention to detail. So give me a call. We can have the conversation. I'll do a complimentary policy review and also requote. Let's make sure your coverages make sense, the premium makes sense, and of course you have the coverage you need and you deserve. You can give me a call at 480-478-0030, or you can request a quote at gotprotectionaz.com. Remember to ask yourself, are you protected? We'll see you next week.